Welcome to Shays Spiritual Insights. We're so glad you're here. This is going to be so wonderful. Our first insights after the Becoming a Master seminar. And I want you to know this, if you look over on the one side here, I'm going to let them say hi. Debra and Greg are both here. So here's Debra. Say hi.
Hi, everybody. I'll actually go over here.
Oh,
You
there's-
can see me.
And then Greg's.
Hello.
There they are.
Hi,
So
you
they're,
guys.
they
Glad
don't
to-
even need to be on Zoom. They've zoomed right into the room here.
I like this.
Yes. So just the opening comments I have is that I'm sensing a lot with, just specifically with the soul group, we have worldwide, we have a transition going on, elections and plenty that's affecting people. And I'm sensing the static, but more importantly, I don't know if you've been feeling it. The Kay used to talk about it a lot, and I've really come to notice it, is um, the celebration of the season. We've got Thanksgiving coming up, and then Christmas, and it's in heaven is such a huge in the etheric realm. The celebration of Christmas for those who in the angelic realm that deal with the happenings here on planet Earth. It's a huge deal, and I can just feel the light of the birth of light and the celebration, and I just call it the Christmas season. I can feel the energies already coming in. I don't know if others are, but that's all I have for comments. So would either of you like to start with anything?
Oh, I wish I had something profound to add, but I don't.
Okay, Debra?
No, not right now.
Deborah's shaking her head, so that means no. So with that, I'd just like to go around and just see what you have to say and just, see what's happening since about a week ago. So let's start with you, Paula. Do you have anything to share or ask, or both?
Oh, thank you, Jeff. And it's such a joy to see everybody. And even if Pat's kind of green in the haze,
He's living the realm, yes.
living in the realm. Yeah. Really, I've just been integrating so nicely. Really just still feeling the total bliss and not truly grasping yet what's really gone on, I guess, would be, what's really happened. I haven't really grasped it yet. Energetically, yes, but mentally and that I haven't. So other than just joy and blessings, I'm just here to share the energy with everybody. So I'll let go with that.
Wonderful. Yes, with everyone has it here. I mean, with the signature, the master signature, it's going to start attracting things into your life, both short term and long term. And you'll also start noticing, and probably gently so, things falling away. And then as new things come in and more, it'll accelerate and it'll ebb and flow. But it's generally, from when I did it, it seemed like it was pretty gentle, but within let's say, a short time, 6 months to a year, I noticed my life was in a really different direction in many different areas. So it's just a matter of what your individual path is. So thank you for sharing that, Paula. Aaron, do you have anything? You're up on top today. Anything to share, ask, or both?
Um, I feel definitely more confident this week. Work was really interesting. Like things just seemed to flow a little better. Collaborating with people was different and felt pretty easy. And I felt like pretty outgoing, which is a little different for me with a group of men. So that was cool. I guess my question would be, I feel like I'm pretty energetic, like, higher than normal, but then I'll feel like kind of exhausted. So I'm just wondering, I mean, I know we're still integrating, but just
That's
kind of
it.
curious about that, I guess.
Yeah, and you've had higher energy, you had some significant things fall away, let's call it, being processed both through your energetic field, and you know about that, and so a bunch of it fall away, and that has been long-term stuff that it's been part of your life plan to do that for a long time. It's just a matter of when and what the right time, and that it happened. and now you're really connected, and you're making new connections. Old ones are falling away, new ones are being grounding ones are being made. And you're right, it's going to be an ebb and flow integration and connection process. And the longer you do it, you may think like, oh boy, the energy is waning, but in reality what it is you're raising up and integrating it. So it's not like it's going away, it's just you're rising to meet it. And that's what is going to be going on for quite some time in different ways in different parts of your life. So kind of expect more of that, but it'll move into different areas and it'll have different feelings to it. I don't know how to better way of saying that, but it's a wonderful thing and you're doing great.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, Lisa, who is cold from the Arctic because she's wearing the hat
It's
and
like
everything.
25 degrees here.
Oh my, yeah. Well, hopefully not inside your house. It's not.
Well, no,
All right. Well, good.
no, but you know, these old houses aren't insulated that well.
And there's pluses and minuses to that too. So, what do you have to
Mhm.
share? Your thoughts and any questions, or both?
Well, I can't believe it's been a week.
I know.
Gosh, it went by so fast. I would just say I'm in massive growth period. I'm like still dropping and breaking things. I was doing that before the seminar, during the seminar, and after the seminar. And usually I'm a lot more graceful, but you know, when I'm kind of in that space, I know it must be in a big integration growth period.
Yes.
So, and I'm sleeping more, which I feel like I'm catching up because I didn't sleep much during the 4.5 days. So, and pretty vivid dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, do I have a question? I
Not
guess
necessary. Well, go ahead if you have one. Go ahead.
I just said if there's anything specific, it's you know, I'm kind of like with Paul. I mean, like I know like so much has happened, but it really hasn't sunk in the totality of that. It feels very surreal. Like I was telling Pat last night, I'm like, man, you know, we did so much, and it's like, did we do that stuff? You know, some of those things were just so magnificent. It's just kind of unbelievable a little bit. I know it happened, but yeah, it's a I don't even know how to describe that, what I'm trying to describe, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and surreal is a good word for that. And you're doing a lot of work at night too. Your high self and your guides, the whole entourage said. You're doing a lot of work at night because you're going up there and doing some of the higher work that you need to do in that state. And yes, this is one of the things when you have that master's energetic signature, this going to go kind of in a cycle, and it's going to be you got some short cycles that are going to happen, and then you have the long cycle, and it's going to let all things fall away. And I'm going to say generally a gentle fashion, although sometimes if we're ready for it, it can be accelerated. And then you have the new things coming in and it transitions. And at some point it hits where you've moved, I don't know, like when you're transitioning from the Pacific Ocean through the Malaccan Straits and you're going into the Indian Ocean, you're leaving the one body of consciousness and you're transitioning, and it's kind of like it's not real, but it is. And Richard Bach talked about that in his book Illusions, in that these times of knowing can seem like dreams, and they're not dreams, and we need to really honor them and know this is it's so big that our consciousness can't handle it, and that's why it seems surreal. Anyway, as you're transitioning, as you are both are doing now, you're going through the straits, and you're not quite in the Pacific Ocean, and you're not quite in the Atlantic Ocean, and you're in that transitional period in so many areas of your life, and all the stuff is just, now that with the signature, it's going to let all things fall away that are not part of that and bring in the things that are part of it. But I'm going to caveat that with we do have free will. So it's one of those things where we have to keep choosing it and I'm going to say for it to continue to happen. It's going to continue to happen to some degree anyway, but it'll happen much more in a bigger way as we're continuing to seek it. So
Okay.
you're doing a lot right now. And your fact that you're breaking things doesn't surprise me because of all these energetic stuff going on. Yeah. So,
Yeah, and I was at the grocery store and like so many people everywhere I was going were staring at me. So I was like, okay, yeah, definitely something shifted.
it has. And on that, I've started I don't know, it'll be part full-time at first because I'm working at a new place. I'm a cashier again, interestingly. I tried to do all kinds of different things, and that's what manifested. I said, okay, because all things are in service of the divine, that's what I'll do. And it's funny you say that because people, was going through the cashier's line, I'm courteous, but so is everyone else. But I'm getting that look like there's something else going on, or they're reacting far in excess than they should for the amount of interaction we had. They're aware of it at the intuitive level, but they can't quite figure out what it is. So each of you is a vessel of that divine light, and in a very intense way, because you are plugged into the master energies now. And they're going to make sure they, being your masters and your higher guidance and the divine, are going to make sure, I'm going to say generally speaking, that all of this happens in a holistic, integrated way for you. It's just part of the master energies. It's just kind of how it happens. And then after that, it gets to a certain critical mass. Then the unfoldment comes to where you choose the path, and it's a more active process than it has been in the past, to where we kind of waited for things to come. This is where they're going to look for us to set our intentions and to look at what's available, what the divine has for us as possible paths, and then select it. And know that whichever path we take, we will learn the things and do the things we have to do. It's just a matter of how we do it and with whom we do it and that sort of thing. So, but all of you are really, each of you in your own way, it's just amazing looking at all the different energies. It's wonderful. And you got kind of a rainbow thing going, Paula, just so you know. I'm not sure what all that's about. I guess they're reds. Maybe Lisa or one of the others can see it. It's like a beautiful, almost like a heart red, but a little bit of pink in it, and some violets and blues, yellow, and some other colors, and a gold and silver. And each of you have that in yours as well, but I don't know about the other colors. Kay used to call them the New Age colors, and that's a good name for them because I don't know what to call them. So, but you all have varying amounts of it in your auric field. So that's all I have. Do you have anything else, Lisa?
No, I think that's it. So thank you.
Well, thank you. All right. Pat, who's living in the realm, do you have anything to share? Ask or both.
Can you see my aura through that green?
Yeah, I don't need the screen to see it, but you know what's neat to do that is that I can see it both with, I call it my eyes, but also with my inner vision. And my friend Dale once pointed out something to me, and I may have mentioned it to you before. I said, I'm not sure if I'm seeing it with my eyes. It looks like I'm looking at it with my eyes. And what he mentioned to me, and I got that it rang as true, and I think it's true for lots of people, is that we see it with our third eye, but it gets processed through our visual cortex. So it looks like we're seeing it with our eyes, but in reality, it's our inner vision, our third eye, So
Don't pay any attention. I forgot to that phone. I forgot to unhook it. Yeah, so I mean, I can just relate to what every person said tonight. And also, I noticed today, even though I was busy in the house doing stuff, I felt like I wasn't quite here.
that's
Like,
a true statement.
okay, go ahead. Yeah.
That's a true statement. Yeah, keep going.
And I also have been very sleeping really hard at night, like just unbelievable. I mean, it's like I could sleep till 9 a.m. if I let myself. I suppose I know processing. And the funny part is those of you that were there and heard me and noticed me, I was out gone for a lot of, not a lot, but I suppose what, a quarter, at least a quarter, third what we did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really bothering me for a while. And then I just, kind of let go of it. And you helped me a little, Jeff, by this might help other people too, by, telling me that I had a lot of things to process and they were helping me out with that.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I don't know. It's kind of hard to talk about it when people ask me about, tell me a little about your seminar. I just say, it was intense. It was really intense.
Yeah, and it was happening at levels of your being that go beyond our ability to talk about them. That was something that I'll share, and I mentioned this some years ago. I was faithfully journaling my meditations every time I did them. Every day I journaled them, and they kept bringing me to the point to where, and it happens to all of us, and I can say in the master seminar, it definitely is happening because they're bringing you up, before I forget about it, Pat, they're bringing you up to these higher realms where you've been working before, but you can work more holistically now because you've been rewired. In fact, all of you have. And you're doing a bunch of work at night and sleeping as well. But anyway, I quit journaling because I couldn't talk about it anymore. It's just so far beyond words. It just became, a proverbial blah, blah, blah. What did we say? It's not like it wasn't, it was extremely significant, but beyond the ability of our brains to encode the experience. We go up there, and while I'm up there, I think, oh, I'm going to tell everyone about this experience. And I get back down and I'm without words. And I know we've all had that. And that's the nature of the master seminar for each of you, because the divine and your master guide connected with you and worked with you at levels and in a very integrated way across the whole spectrum, all the facets of your being, because you made the choice to be there. And once you were initiated in preparation, and then finally in being initiated as a spiritual master or a master in awareness and being, as they refer to it, consistently, by the way, that's how they always refer to it. Boy, it's an experience that I don't know that we can put words on it. So just know that it is. And again, I said earlier, I don't know if everyone was on, but in Richard Bach and Illusions, he talked about these times of knowing can seem like dreams, and we, over time, if we're not careful, we can dismiss them. I'm kind of paraphrasing, obviously. And it's important that we know these did happen. These are the profound times that were transformative in our life, and the more we know that and connect with that, the more it will happen. So I'm going to leave it with that.
Yeah, thanks. I want to share one more cool thing that I saw a lady write today.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, we are, those of us doing all the different things we're doing, we are like tuning forks.
Mm.
And we're just like radiating that out to the whole of everything. So
Yes, and that was what we talked about. Was it Thursday? I think Greg mentioned it. You possibly others. It's a blur now who said it, but what the divine and the masters are seeing us. Everyone was there. You are absolutely beacons of light, anchoring the energy, the divine. Your tuning forks or channels, however you want to see it. You're both an instrument and a vessel of the divine. You're a vessel for bringing it through, like water going through a pipe, like a big water main, bringing it out to the world, radiating it everywhere, and anchoring it as well. And this is what they see from what they told me, that it's vastly important, more than we can ever know, even though it seems like there's only a few of us there, that few is because of the nature of becoming a master and the connections of the energies you're with. It's beyond your knowing the energies you're even carrying. It's kind of like you're carrying energies we're not even aware of. And in these times, the world desperately needs it. And so you're right, Pat. That is indeed what is happening.
well, that's really cool. And I feel like a lot of our people that are part of our whole group, like Marci and everything, and John and many people, like they were a part of it, even though they weren't there.
Yes, through our connected star. Yes. And through the Elohim connection, they were. They didn't get the full amount, but they did get expanded even though they weren't there. That is true.
Thank you, Jeff.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you bring this up, because it's just, when everyone shares, it's each of us has a way of saying things that the others benefit from, and we have a different perspective on it that, maybe I say it and it's like, yeah, that's okay. But then Lisa or you or Aaron or Paula says it or Marci, and it's like, wow, then it really connects. And, this, my guides tell me it's not just the message, it's the messenger. It has to be, sometimes we need a particular messenger to deliver the message. It can't just be anyone. And that's why when we're all together, it's so powerful. And with that, she's been so patient. Marci, hello. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have to push a bunch of buttons. Yeah, hi everybody. I did feel like I was with you guys at the beginning. I kind of tuned in, and I could see the Elohim like a funnel of light, and it was coming, from here, and I was like a thread of it that came in with what you guys were doing, but not like awareness of what you're doing throughout the whole thing. It was like, okay, that was the part you're going to do. Now that's, it was like that wasn't what was required. So it was like, okay, cool. But yeah, I like what you just said about it's not just the message, it's the messenger. I've never heard that before, so that's interesting.
Yeah, my guides have been telling me that for years, and I came to realize it's true. But continue, please. What's been happening?
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, the last couple of days have been pretty intense. I mean, everything everybody else has said, the breaking stuff, exhausting, dream thing. Yesterday we went somewhere, and when I came back, it was like, that was exactly like a dream, like waking up from a dream in the morning. When I sat down, it was like, well, that was fun. It's like being in on a boat in the water and the waves are up and down. It's, that kind of a feeling going on throughout the day. So yeah, it's just a lot going on energetically, and not bad. Just sometimes it stretches you quite a bit, because there's not a lot of break in between time from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, energetically, and so much stuff releasing, and then just the expansion that takes place simultaneously or right after. And yeah, there's not much to say about any of it, because more and more we're getting out of our heads, so there's just the being part.
Yeah, the being, and Debra talks about that. We call it sometimes the beingness, but you're definitely getting in immersion more so than normal. And I think because of the seminar, you were getting some of that you were ready for, just because of your connection. Joseph Campbell had a dear friend. His name was Heinrich Himmler. I think I'm saying it correctly. Knew him since like 1953 or 1955. Really influential in many parts of his life. And his saying was, and this came up in the Bill Moyers interview, that there's only three things we talk about. And he said the best things can't be talked about. And because they go beyond words, they're in the transcendent zone. They're beyond our ability in the mind to even to grasp it. No tongue has ever touched, no word has ever spoiled that essence. And then he said, then there's the second things we talk about. The second best things are misunderstood. Art, poetry, some of the more expressive things, because art and poetry and that sort of thing, spirituality, point toward those things that are beyond words. So the idea is that it's not to have the spiritual thing become literal, but have it point us toward our connection to the transcendent so we can experience the transcendent in that beingness, as you said. And then he said the third most talked about things are like the daily life. We talk about the weather, sports, our job, whatever it is. But I always like that about it, because the things that are truly the most transformational, inspirational, and that absolutely bring us closer to the divine are beyond words. There's no way to do it. So all we can use are allegories and stories, and and those sorts of things to help people connect with it. And meditation, of course, helps us, and the divine is certainly able to oblige. So I can agree with you. You've been in that state, and even more so, more immersive, and it seems like it goes through a wave of this, and though it's soft, it moves into another wave of something else. And Hawaii is because you're right there in Elohim Central. You're getting so much of that energy just being in Hawaii. So what a blessing that is. As soon as we get our transporter fixed, we're going to join you.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh,
all
that
I
would
have
be
to say,
great.
is just to affirm what you're saying, and thought you should share the thing about what Joseph Campbell talked about, because that's the experience we had. We go so far beyond our ability to talk about it, and so much happens because they take our conscious mind out of the way, and we go into deep theta, and then we come back out of the meditation, and now conscious mind has no idea what just happened. So
Yeah.
does anyone else here have
Yeah.
anything to share? Greg or?
Oh, I'll just mention that, like everybody else, oops, I got the,
Oops, we lost the little fuzzy thing.
I've been so tired and I've been sleeping so well, and yet I still feel like I want to take naps in the afternoon. It just feel like I've been processing and processing and processing.
Yes. Thank you. Debra, do you have anything to add? Deborah's over here. You can't see her. She's invisible. She's practicing invisibility. Now that's her hand coming out of the invisibility field.
Yeah, it's been a lot of processing, and I've been feeling kind of lost this week, because when I saw this book and it closed, and it's a white book, a really big, thick white book, and the book closed, and it's like the not just the chapter, but the whole, I don't know what you call it, the whole phase of my life is just ended, and I'm kind of lost because I don't know what's next, and I'm feeling kind of demotivated and not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing next. And I know this too shall pass, but it's been kind of weird. Well, and the other thing with Jeff going to work has been a change as well, because that's kind of disrupted our pattern of being. So that's another transition that we're going through. But yeah, I don't know what is going to be happening next, but I'm looking forward to things moving on, and waiting for the next phase or stage, or whatever you want to call it, part of my life to unfold. So yeah, it's been kind of challenging this week, but it's all good. It is all good. So that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Deborah. That was wonderful, because I think that's what happens to many of us. And this morning, and she had seen, I think she told everyone, but during the seminar, that we saw that part of our path was to make an effort and to be open and bring and be the vessels to bring through the seminar that the masters and the divine had for everyone. And so it took a while, but it happened. And that was part of our life path commitment before we came. And Deborah was the one who realized that probably 8-9 months ago. When she said that, I said, oh my goodness, you're right. That is what we're supposed to be doing. And at that point, I knew, it came clear to me that this was the time, because we talked about doing the seminar for years and years, but it just never seemed to be the time. And all of a sudden, now's the time. And we're so glad that all of you honored and allowed us to be to join you and support you in this path of your own, to becoming a master in awareness and being. So we thank you for letting us be part of that and to support you. But this morning, I have to agree with her. It's kind of like the book closing. It's like, that's finished. That whole phase of our life is done. and whatever that means, we don't even know what that means. And I just saw the whole thing kind of going into invisibility, and the new one is now being connected, and we're going to find out what directions we're guided in and where we need to set our intentions, and then do that. But I'm reminded of something that I think Greg said to the group. I don't know. I know he said it to me afterwards. It came out in one of the meditations, and it was from the divine. Let all things we do be in service to the divine. Little things, big things, everything in between. And that when we do that, everything is part of our path, and it doesn't matter what we do. So I'm going to put this little microphone back on. And with that, Franny, do you have something to share, to ask, or both?
Hi, everybody. I don't at this moment. I'm just kind of shifting gears and settling in and kind of catching up, you might say. Yeah, so I've had a full week, and yeah, that's all I have to say.
Wow, I was expecting something big, or and that's wonderful. I mean, just you're processing right now, I take it.
I think so. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Wow. Well, let's see. Let me do a couple thoughts before we go around for any closing comments. I'm going to come around. Because I'm working in my schedule, because I'm new, I'm the newbie. I'm not sure what it's going to be. Shays Spiritual Insights may shift a little bit. I'll let you know, and we'll see what works for everyone. Hopefully it can continue, but one never knows. Attachment, we're not to be attached to anything, so we'll just flow with it and see how it goes for everyone. And so long as you want to be there, we're going to make our effort to have that happen. And with that, Paula, you had something more, please.
Yes, thank you. After I was listening to everyone, two things came back to my mind that happened the beginning of the week. I was taking one of my grandchildren down for their dental appointment, and I looked at my calendar probably twice after we got home and told everyone, okay, Tuesday, 1:00. And we get to Whitefish and we walk in, and they looked at us kind of strange, and we said who we were, and they said, gee, I don't have that today here. And so we looked at the text information. Sure enough, it was the next day at 1:00. But the part that came from it was I was given that extra blessing of time with a grandchild who needed to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so appreciative of how the divine works with us and puts those kind of things as an availability within our day to day. And I didn't see it until we started speaking tonight, that that's what that was all about, was that particular grandchild needed to be heard. And it was my blessing to be able to hear him. And then the next thing on Wednesday, when we actually got there at the right time, I was wearing one of my jackets. When I was looking at them, said, wear me today. So it's an older coat that was my dad's. We walk in, and the lady sitting there looked at me kind of strange. She goes, wow, that coat, something is like just amazing about that coat today. And everybody in the waiting room looked at me, and they all said, yeah, you're just shining. That coat is just so special. And it was just interesting how everyone picked up on that energetic without knowing what it was. And so when you had said that earlier about our energetic will attract people, and they won't always know why. Again, I realized afterwards that was what it was all about. It was the energetic that I was now carried within me that was resonating out. So those were both important that I say those. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I don't know, I call those kind of, I got borrowed it from Kay. Kay used to call those things cosmic occasionally, or other words. She sometimes used that word when the divine and the universe intercede, and the appointment that we thought was yesterday, today is tomorrow or something else, but yet it all works out for the highest good. And that happened before, but because you all have the master signatures, the volume has been turned up, the frequency's been turned up, and your light has gone from regular light bulb light to like laser light, coherent light. That's a huge difference. and people are going to really pick up on it, and they may look at you and not know why. And I saw that so much, and at work as well. I noticed it much more than normal right after the seminar, and everyone's like, some of my coworkers like, what's that all about? I said, I don't know. These things happen. What are you going to say? Well, we just had a seminar this last week, and let me tell you all about it. I'm not sure they're ready for that. So we just say, well, just what blessings to everyone, and it is a blessing when we can be the vessel for others, because it'll, of course, shines back in their response to us. So thank you, Paula. That was wonderful. Lisa, do you have anything more to share before we'll go close it out today? We'll make this kind of an informal, a shorter version than normal insights.
No, I won't bring that up. No, I don't have anything to say. Thank you.
Okay. Perhaps we'll talk at some point if you wish, if it's private, or we'll see. Pat, thank you very much, Lisa. I don't mean to. I understand sometimes it's like I want to bring something up. It's like no, I'm not. This isn't the time or something. I understand. Timing's important always too. Pat, do you have anything to share before we close on out for tonight?
Actually, I don't. I really don't. It's normally I'm got stuff, but I'm just very grateful we could all be together tonight, and
Yes.
and yeah. So thank you everybody, and thank you, Jeff. And yeah.
Well, thank you. I always love getting together with our spiritual family. What a blessing. Aaron, do you have anything as well? Anything to share? Or you don't have to. It's completely optional.
Sure. I was just pretty tickled about this. I a couple of times have been triggering other people in my life, during this week, but I recognize it quickly, and then I just apologize and say, oh, hey, I didn't, sorry for overstepping or whatever I was doing. And then that just shifted everything. It only took a few minutes then that was in the past, and everything felt good again between us. And I'm just super excited about that. So things that would have carried on for hours, it was 5 or 10 minutes, and it's gone. And I love it. It's awesome.
Yes, and and we're now probably more so than we were before, although I think many of us were practicing it, but we're even more so in the place of letting it go, letting it be gone, not trying to go grab it back or something, just let it flow away and let the divine bless it. So wonderful, wonderful, Aaron. I'm so glad to hear that. That's absolutely awesome. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Okay, Franny, do you have anything to share before we close on out here? Anything, thoughts, questions, anything at all?
I don't.
Wow, this is wonderful. I always love all the things that have happened, and I'm not used to it, so it's kind of different because you have such an active life. So wow, I'm so glad you're here, though. What a blessing it is with all of you, just everyone here. I can feel it flowing into me from the screen. So. And I'm so tickled that Debra and Greg are here as well. I mean, I have Zoom participants who don't even need Zoom, and you can't even beat that. So, Marci, do you have anything? Any thoughts, questions, anything before we close out? You there, Marci? She might be having buttons problems because of Hawaii.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I know how it is in Hawaii. Sometimes with the phones, they don't respond as quickly.
I would like to blame it. I'd blame it on Hawaii, but it's me.
Oh, okay. Well, you could have stuck with the Hawaii thing.
I'm being one with it.
Oh, okay, there we go. All right. So what do you have?
I'm just blank.
Okay.
I'm blank.
Well, that's because you're just coming in and just, I don't know how it is for you, but and I'm still in the phase right now, and I'm trying to learn left brain stuff while I'm at work, and it's like, how do I use that keyboard again? Okay, that's right. Hold on. What's that number? I saw it, but I can't seem to translate it because I'm, just so immersed in the energy, and I know that we all are. We're still processing so much, and they had it, by the way, for not almost everyone there. They had everything you went through, plus they have things queued up waiting for you. So as soon as you get ready, integrated the one thing, you'll start getting the next thing, whatever that is for you. And it was different for each person there. So your master guides are working with the divine as well as you as a master. You get the whole entourage, the whole group of the whole fellowship, endless fellowship of masters working to help bring us accelerate, to, let's say, integrate us into our role more fully as time goes on here. And it's going to happen at a pace that we're ready for. So that's all I have.
I have one question.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
have one question, Jeff. You talk about setting intention, and what would you see if you looked at a life where you set intention versus one where you were just open to source flowing through you? What would you see? What difference would you see?
Well, that's a hard one to say because this is a chicken and the egg question. And I'm going to answer it this way, which is kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth, but it's really not. If you set your intentions, typically what we're doing is we're guided to set our intentions because we set the life plan before we came, and the divine's going to guide us into the intentions that we have from our high self and the higher realms, the higher aspects of our being, to intuitively know, to instinctively know, however you think of it, to pursue. In other words, we're given we're given the intention for which we are to set. So for those of us that get it, we just have it and we set our intentions, and then the divine lets the unfoldment happen. Let's say for the average spiritual seeker, and it unfolds. For those who are open to the divine, we're open to all that which we set forth in our life plan, and then we're given the next thing that's kind of to unfold in our life plan, and that gets kind of plugged into our head, into our being, and the next thing you know, that becomes our intention. So that's where I mean the chicken and the egg thing. So it can either way it happens. It kind of happens the same way. It's just a matter of whether the chicken came first or the egg came first. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Okay.
Kind of.
Does anyone else want to jump in there? What I'm saying is when we set the intention, for a lot of us, we think, I'm going to use Debra as an example here. I'm going to just use her. Her connection with the Divine Mother is such, she does her clairosmosis thing to where she thinks in her own mind that it was her idea, when in reality it came from the divine. But because of how it happened, she doesn't recognize that it came in that way. So she'll say, this is my intention, when in reality it's an intention that's part of her life plan that was given to her by the divine. We both do that way. Sometimes we get it, our conscious mind knows what we're supposed to be doing. We know it within our being, and we set our intentions. But those intentions originated from our life plan. We just didn't know it. Or, as you said, we're just open to the divine. We ignore what we know, and we just wait for it to come in that way. But either way, it all came from the same source. That's what I'm saying.
So,
okay,
Jeff-
so it
I'm
will
sorry.
still come through. Whatever needs to come through will still come through.
Absolutely. As long as we're open to it and flowing with it, and willing to go with it. And I'll use the example of way back when in 2012, Debra they had started up what was called the Reiki share, the shared healing session we were doing here in Eureka at Heather's place. Anyway, she said, do you want to join that? And I said, no, it's not my thing. And finally, in one of the meditations, the Father said, I want you to say yes to things you would normally say no to. I was thinking, okay, I can do that. Next thing I know, not even a day goes by. And Deborah says, "Hey, I know you said no before, but would you like to go to the Reiki share and be part of it?" And I said, "Yes." I was going to say no, and I said yes. So, and that was part of what we were to do, or what I was to do. And I kept saying, because my conscious level mind, my low self wanted to do low self things. But I said, okay, so my answer is yes, it all comes through so long as we flow with it and allow it to happen. And sometimes go a new direction that we haven't gone before, which may seem strange or different, only that the low self isn't familiar with it. The low self, which likes patterns and habits, it's part of our, that part of our being that, where we don't have to think about how to brush our teeth. It's just the habits that we have. And there can be good habits, and then there can be inhibiting habits. And so as long as we're open, life is good. And we will get the information we need, and we will flow with the divine. That's my long answer to your short question.
Oh, that's good. That's good. It's bringing stuff up, so I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
So you're saying, Jeff, part of what you're saying is that as long as I lost the words just aren't hanging out with me this week. As long as we pay attention and, it had to do with free will, and use our free will in a good way, the destination will be the same.
The end
according
point.
to our life plan.
Yes, the route may change. We can choose different ways to learn the same thing. We can learn a lesson this way, this way, this way. We can learn it the higher way, and they say the easier way, without having to hold on to things. Or if we choose, we can hold on. Sometimes we get, our low self wants to hold on to things, and then it becomes a little bit of a bumpier ride. But yes, ultimately we get there. And so long as we use our free will to be open to the divine and to choose paths that are in line with the nudging that the divine and our higher guidance is giving us, it does. But ultimately, I think all of us are going to, all of us make it to the destination. It's just a matter of whether we do it, more quickly and just flow with it, or we choose to learn it the high road, or we choose to sometimes hold on to things. And I've done that. I find myself holding on. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And finally, like, I'll use the Reiki share was the example. It took a few months, but all of a sudden I said yes. And that ultimately allowed unfoldment to happen that was waiting to happen. So yes, we all make it there. And especially now with you, all of you who've been to the Becoming a Master seminar, that has been amplified. That has been really, you're plugged in, and you've got a very direct connection to you're kind of plugged into Grand Coulee Dam, so to speak. You're not just plugging into an outlet. Yeah, you're living in Electric City. You're right there. Lisa is there. But you're all plugged in, and because you chose to do this, things are happening in a way through the master energies and your signature and being a master that is going to allow things to unfold differently. And there are now paths in every one of your life paths. I was looking in the room before you left. I was because I'm shown life plans kind of in a general fashion by the divine for everybody. And all these pathways opened up that just were not there before because we weren't ready for them. But now that you are connected with these energies of the master, you are ready for them. And it may take a little while for you to become aware of them, but there's going to be, I'm just going to call them inklings and awarenesses, or I don't even know how to describe them, but just things that'll come into our consciousness that don't dismiss them, just be open to them, let them come in, let them penetrate, let them crystallize. And in time, they will show you things that are part of your path that you may not have known were even there. So, do you two have anything last to share? Debra has something to share. I'm going to hand her the mic. There she is.
I just wanted to say it's wonderful seeing everybody and connecting with everybody. I know I'm not on these Zoom calls very often, but It's been a blessing to be with you all tonight. And I wanted to remind everyone, for those that have time, I'm going to be doing a Zoom sound shower next Wednesday from 7 to 9. The Zoom link is already out there on our webpage. So I'll be sending out an email as well. So if you're inclined to join me, that'd be great. I'm going to be doing the crystal bowls this time. So we'll be focusing on playing all the crystal bowls. So hopefully we'll see you there. If not, I'm sure I'll see you at some point. And blessings to all of you.
Deborah,
Thank you,
are you
Deborah.
also,
Go ahead.
is Deborah also holding a sound shower on November 11th at the Creative Arts Center?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, and that's going to be the last culminating sound shower for our whole chakra series. We'll be working with all of the chakras and integrating them into one system. So that'll be a new thing that we haven't done yet. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So yes, it'll be from 2 to 4 on the 11th. Saturday.
Well, isn't it the 12th?
Whatever day is the November on a
November
Saturday.
12th
I think it's the
is
11th.
on-
Maybe it's the
It's the
12th.
12th. It's the 12th, yeah.
Okay, it's the 12th then.
So 12?
Thank you.
Yep, 12 from 2 to 4. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to seeing you all there as well.
All right. Thank you, Deborah. And I apologize. I sometimes forget to mention that, and I should put a little sticky in front of me so I always, because I get pulled, the energy starts flowing, thinking on how it is for all of you. It's like, what was I going to? We were going to talk about something, and then it slips my mind. So, well, anyway, just blessings to all of you. Thank you for being here, and just wow, what an honor it is to see everyone again so soon and so amplified, and just absolutely your frequencies raised and new connections that just weren't possible before. So until next time, and we'll have to figure out when that next time is. Blessings, light, and love, and we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Lots
Thanks,
of love,
everybody.
Thank
everybody.
you, everyone. Thanks, Jeff, Deborah.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
See you, Greg.